Hello, Vivid Earth Tribe. How are you all doing today? I'm doing very well. It looks like we have spring or even summer in full swing in Cape Town. We went from 12 degrees and pouring rain last week to 28, 30 degrees and abundant sunshine this week. So I cannot complain. I'm definitely made for the warmer temperatures, not the colder ones. Hope you're all well. So I've had a request to speak a little bit more around the significance of Cape Town and South Africa in the times that we are in and moving forward. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of information. It is a work in progress, so it will be a project that will continue to investigate, research, debate, and bring forth. So, but today I just wanted to share the information that I have and what I know that you may find interesting, either if you do live in Cape Town or you live in South Africa or you live somewhere else and are curious about Cape Town and the role of this place in New Earth and where we're all going. So, firstly, Cape Town is very interesting in the sense that we're living um, in something called the South Atlantic Anomaly, which basically stretches from South America to Southern Africa, and it basically is a part of Earth where the magnetic field is extremely low. So basically, um, South Africa, the Earth's Van Allen radiation belt comes the closest to Earth's surface, dipping down to about 200 kilometers. So that's very interesting. So whilst this is opening us up to more radiation coming from the sun, it is definitely something that we can adapt to, number one. And number two, it means the magnetic field here is very low. And what that means is that everything is lighter here. So when we're going to be moving into New Earth and whether it's going to be catapulted by the solar flare that everyone's talking about, or assisted, or however you want to look at it, um, I think Cape Town is definitely going to become like a center point and a tipping point for this whole Earth ascension process because of the magnetic field. So we're already being prepared for a lighter way of being with a higher frequency, which is quite interesting. So what it means for us and for our bodies is we all just feel much lighter when we're in Cape Town, in this area, or in South America. And therefore, we feel healthier, we feel happier because our organs are not pulled down by the magnetic forces. Like, for example, the magnetic field in London is very, very heavy. So that means you always feel a little bit more dense and heavy and almost like you're being pulled down when you're in London. And I think we all can attest to that. While it's, for example, a very exciting city to be in, you do feel kind of heavy and tired when you're there. We've just seen an influx of foreigners into Cape Town and the Western Cape over the last, I would say, 10 to 20 years, and it's now just really picking up speed. And it really is because when people come here, they feel happier, they feel lighter, and they can't explain why. But a lot of people who suffer from all sorts of illnesses in Europe, for example, suddenly just feel much better when they come here. So that's very interesting. So I'm very happy. Actually, I'm here, and as I said, so many times I've been tempted to move to a more exciting place, but I'm really glad I stuck around because this place is quite special. And then we have Table Mountain, which actually all the rock is basically there's a lot of crystal in the mountain. So the crystalline structure of the mountain is immense, and it's a very big mountain, as we know. And there's a lot of neighborhoods dotted around the mountain. I'm staying at the back of Table Mountain, for example. So there's a lot of abundant nature here, and less pollution, less traffic, and that's what I love about it. But also the fact that I've got an uninterrupted view of the back of Table Mountain, fresh, abundant air, fynbos, and of course the crystal. That's just attracted me immediately. But what's even more interesting is the fact that apparently there has been some plasma ships around Table Mountain for a couple of years now. So by that I mean extraterrestrial ships. They have been monitoring this area for quite a while. And you'll often see like a blanket over the mountain. Now, whilst we do have that sort of blanket of cloud often over the mountain, it's been more than usual, I would say, in the last year or more. And I believe there's been a Pleiadian ship, mothership, basically parked above Table Mountain. So they're closely monitoring what's going on here, which is really interesting. And something else that I've heard is that there's a portal in Table Mountain that's able to open up to other galaxies and star systems. And I guess it can go both ways. That can be a positive or a negative. So, from a positive point of view, we are quite connected and we can easily access other realms. But on the negative side, negative forces and entities can also come through this portal. Um, so I have a feeling they've been here to protect the portal, which is interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to make my screen brighter because I see the light is going all weird. Yeah, and there's a lady, interesting lady on YouTube as well. She's an American, but she visited South Africa. I forgot her name now, but she's also been reporting on all the motherships and the plasma whips around Table Mountain. So there's a lot of people that have noticed that, and also a lot of people have channeled that information, like through QHHT hypnosis and mediumship. So this information has come from a lot of different sources. And then what I've also heard is that there has been also a lot of tunnels or DUMs, as they're called, deep underground military bases, even in Table Mountain. And I believe a lot of those sort of darker, nefarious things have been removed and it's been cleared out. So that is really, really good news for Cape Town as a whole, because it's going to help us energetically just raise our vibration. Because you can imagine all that darkness that's happening in the mountain underground. How can that affect us above ground? It all is interconnected at the end of the day. But probably the most interesting thing that I have heard about Cape Town is, and it's also through, the information came through channeling through QHHT hypnosis, and it's actually Erica Williams from QHHT Cape Town, who had a client that channeled this information. So she was called to go to Cape Point. Now, Cape Point is where Cape Agulhas is situated, and it's supposed to be the most southern point of Africa. So the most southern point of Africa is not actually in Cape Town. It's a little bit out of Cape Town because it makes like a little hook going into the ocean, and that's actually the most southern point, in Africa. And she was called to go there, and apparently there's a big, like a vortex and a lot of powerful energies in that area, and the information came through quite strongly that that is going to become one of the most important places on Earth to be, and that a lot of light workers will, over the next couple of years, gravitate to going there and to living there, and sorry about that, and that also that there will be a split happening in South Africa. So the northern part of South Africa will split off the southern part of South Africa, which I also found really interesting. When you look at the north and the south, it's really like two different countries. You can't even compare it. For those who've travelled, and been to Joburg and Cape Town, will I think agree with that. So there's still a lot of negative energy in the north in our country, and apparently there was going to be a split happening, in sort of splitting off the Cape or the southern part of the Western Cape off the rest of the country. So over the next couple of years, so that'll be interesting. But I can almost feel and see that happening. So I'd be very interested to see whether that actually becomes a reality. And then further information that came through these sessions revealed that Cape Town itself has now been connected to Cape Agulhas through some sort of underground portal, and that this was going to be the new Atlantis, which is really, really interesting. So I don't have too much information on that, and I don't know exactly what is meant by that or what that means for us, or what that even means. I don't know, but I do find it very fascinating, and I will be working with Erica and her team to find out what does that really mean for us and for the rest of the world. But apparently, that opens up a portal right through to the pyramids and I think Antarctica as well. So those are the things that I've heard. I felt it for a long time that there's something special about Cape Town. I couldn't put my finger on it. Um, but I think we can all agree we've been through quite a lot in this country. A lot of corruption, a lot of you know economic mayhem, and yeah, just basically we haven't had pleasant times, for a long time. Although when you remove yourself from all that nonsense, it is a beautiful place to live, and it's a place where you can really be happy. And I must say about the people are very authentic. In general, I'm just generalizing here, and have a sort of a more pure sort of general energy. Gosh, I'm gonna have to move this a little bit because the sun is really creating havoc. Um, So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in Cape Town in the next couple of years and how it will rise to its um, actual position on this Earth planet as one of the most important places to be, and how it's going to play a role in the overall ascension process. So yeah, I do know it's one of the most diverse biodiverse flora kingdoms in the world, and we have so much goodness here, so many superfoods that are only found in one place on Earth, which is the Cape region. So I'm going to bring more information forth and more interesting information about South Africa as well, because as we know, some of the oldest civilizations have been proven to be from South Africa. If you know somebody called Michael Tellinger's work and his research and findings on what he calls Adam's calendar, um, that's a really, really interesting rabbit hole to dive into. And I'm hoping to also interview him at some point for the channel. So that's just a little tidbit about Cape Town, South Africa, its role into the bigger picture. But suffice to say, more information will be coming through. This is just to sort of get the conversation started and to give you hope so that you don't move elsewhere. Because unfortunately, a lot of South Africans have, over the last few years, several years, decided that the grass is greener somewhere else and that they were going to leave South Africa. Many of them moved to London. Many of them moved to, I don't know, Portugal. Many of them got a second passport. Our passport is not worth much, to be honest. We need a visa to go almost anywhere. We have one of the worst passports in the world, which is crazy because we used to be able to travel freely to the United Kingdom many years ago. This was about 20, 30 years ago. We didn't even need a visa to go there. But today it's like a massive process and a very costly exercise to get a visa to London and just about everywhere else. So Schengen visa is very difficult to get as well. We can't go anywhere apart from a few African countries, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully our status and position in the world will change. And actually, what I would really like is for us to establish almost like an independent principality in Cape Town that is basically declaring complete independence, that we don't follow the rules and regulations and the corrupt um, suppression from the government here. And I believe there's a piece of land just about 200 kilometers outside of Cape Town in an area called Langebaan, that kind of area, who have actually declared their independence. So it is possible. That has been done. It does have its negatives, but way more positives than negatives. So I'm going to be researching those subjects a little bit further as well. And things like how you can claim your sovereignty legally or move around the legal system. Because there is something like natural law that we all live under, and this artificial legal system that have been imposed on us is actually not even technically legal. Um, so I'm going to be investigating that subject because I think it's super important. And most of the laws that have been artificially placed on us is not it's not benefiting the humanity in general at all. It's basically there to serve the elite, to be quite honest. So, yeah, I'll bring more of that to you soon. I feel very passionate about that because I have the strong inner sense of justice, and I've always been a bit of a rebel, and I've always been able to think out of the box. So, those things are standing me in good stead. And so, yeah, I'll be bringing more along that subject line to you very soon. So, that's my little tidbit for today. If you are in Cape Town, I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. If you are somewhere else, I hope you're not enjoying too much rain or flooding if you're in Paris or um, parts of Europe. And yeah, wishing you a beautiful day ahead, sending lots of love and blessings. And I'll speak to you soon.